5 days. I'm here for a few more. Just been hitting up museums, palaces, bars. Stayed with my buddy in Incheon for a couple days. Now I'm out cruising in Korea solo. Went to the DMZ today. They don't let you go to the joint security zone anymore. That's kind of the famous spot where the North Korean and South Korean guards stare at each other. I guess that's been off limit for like 2 years since they had an incident. Yeah, I'm just chilling right now. The bars don't open till later here, and I've been walking around all day today, so I'm just kicking back in the shade, waiting for a place to open at 3. Gonna get a beer and a pizza. I went there a couple days ago. Right now I'm just kind of at like, um, it's like in the Hongdae district. It's an old railroad that they turned into kind of like a bunch of rooftop bars and like benches to walk at and chill at. Anyways, not really here to discuss Frank and Barry. I know that's what you guys are all fiending for. But yeah, Korea's a cool spot. Um, it had been 13 years since I had been here. 13 and a half years since I was last in Korea, in Seoul. And man, there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, there's almost like an infinite number of bars and coffee shops and bakeries and nail salons and karaoke places and photo studios. Yeah, I mean, it'd be impossible to do it all in one day. Hey, Mr. Mead, how you doing? I know you'll be in Bohol soon, as soon as Hog gets his restaurant opened up. I can't wait till he gets that duckweed burger place going. Rizzuto's gonna lose a lot of money. Oh man, probably Rizzuto fronted him damn near 1,000,000 pesos. Hog's gonna run through that. My prediction is he opens up in a couple weeks and eventually like has some sort of medical issue and has to shut it down and uses that medical issue as a e-begging opportunity. Because the restaurant is going to be like a Hollywood set, just like the Bahavel. The Bahavel's not a farm. It's a Hollywood set designed for e-begging and content for his YouTube channel. Just like the restaurant. He's not going to get customers and earn a profit or anything. It's just going to be content for his videos. He got an investor, Rizzuto, suckered in, sent him all that money. Who knows how much money he got from Pete's land sale and, old Mike and May and Dubs. Probably fleeced 1,000,000 off them. Yeah. I think it's going to open. I think you're wrong about that. I think it'll open for a couple days, couple weeks. And then he'll have that medical episode and just start e-begging from there. I'm going to turn the camera around. Get you some Korean women to check out. So, Mr. Meat, I'm actually banned on your channel. I don't know if you've noticed. I can't make any comments there. Someone banned me on your channel, one of your mods. So, if you want to get in those settings and unban me, I'd love to get in and start making comments again. Yeah, Korea is a cool place. I actually really like it. As far as a major Asian metropolis, it's got a lot going for it compared to Manila. Um, Hong Kong, Singapore, Tokyo, Seoul, those are the big non-Chinese Asian metropolises. So I guess Hong Kong is Chinese now. But Taipei, Osaka, Kuala Lumpur, yeah, what's the Indonesia's capital? I'm blanking on it, but yeah, I like Seoul a lot. It's not cheap out here. Um, Craft beers, you're looking at about $7 to $10. A regular beer is going to be $3 to $6. Food's a little pricey. A lot of foreigners, a lot of young foreigners, specifically young female white foreigners, which you don't really see in Manila or Cebu. You just don't get that. But yeah, they're out here in abundance. No, I'm still living in the Philippines, Cebu. Um, I might be moving to Dumaguete real soon. Kind of gonna make that decision right now. Um, just a couple things happening in my life, but no, I'm in the Philippines for a few more years at least, and then eventually go back to the U.S. in 3 or 4 years, and um, probably. I mean, my long-term plan's been the same. It was to come out here for 6 or 7 or 8 years, and then my house in Long Beach, California, is going to be paid off in February 2029, and then I've got to establish primary residence in that location via electricity bill or something, and I've got to be there for 24 months. Technically, I only need to be there 6 months out of the year. It'd be kind of hard for me to live in the Philippines and claim primary residence in California, because if the IRS audits me, I'd be in big trouble. Um, so, I mean, I could be like living in New York or San Francisco, and as long as I've got an electricity bill in my name there, no one would be the wiser. But, in after 6 or 7 or 8 years in the Philippines, I'll probably be ready to go back to the U.S. for a couple years. My mom's getting up there in age, so I'll probably spend some time with her. She's 75 now, almost 76, so she's pretty old. Um, who knows how many good years she has got left. I mean, she could probably go till 90, but, she's in her 80s. It's not the same. Right now, she's still pretty active. She actually came out and visited me 2 years ago here, and she can still do hikes and walks and, you know, that kind of stuff, drive a car, but in 5 years, who knows? Yeah, I paid a lot in taxes, unlike the hog. Yeah, he's one of those dudes who dances between the raindrops, but it's come back to bite him because now he doesn't have 40 quarters of work history, so he doesn't get Social Security, and he desperately needs Social Security. I I'm I think he's on disability. The mummy's boy Jason from the shrimp pond investor, entrepreneur, he told me that, and I met him face to face in Cebu, and he told me that he paid for little Charlie's hospital bill when Marcel was giving birth because Hogg couldn't afford to pay the bill to get him out of the hospital, and so Jason paid, but Jason was a little reluctant, and he said Hogg told him he gets disability and he promised him a portion of that disability check to repay him. But then, somehow Hogg renegotiated it to get Jason to invest into a shrimp pond, and then Hogg was going to pay Jason the investment back plus the money for the hospital out of the shrimp pond profits. And, well, like most thing Hogg touches, there weren't too many profits to be had. So, um, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I feel sorry for Jason. He's just on a small pension too. I think he's on a disability pension also. I'm not sure what. Maybe just being a giant pussy. But yeah, so I I think Hogg worked as an ice cream salesman for 30 years off the books, no license, no permit, not paying taxes. And then he realized that he's got to get licensed, which he did for a year. And so then he was into the system, and then he was able to claim disability and said his back hurt. And then he just went to the Philippines with that $400 a month disability payment for his back. He probably got like a $6,000 or $7,000 settlement in back pay for his back, and Yeah, Tatai took the loan out on his land, and Marcel came up on a little bit of money, and yeah, they basically bought that Bajabal for 1 million pesos, and threw another million into it, fixing it up, building that little concrete block, unpainted, unrendered house, and just been living off YouTube. I mean, you got to give him a tiny bit of credit. Maybe at his peak, his best month ever on YouTube, would have made 1,500 US dollars, but he's probably only making 300 or 400 bucks right now, if that, maybe only 100 or 200. But it's the super chat, it's the memberships, it's the e-begging, it's the pulling in gullible truck drivers that are subscribers, and then making money off land sales, and then they die and he sells the land and keeps it, or he manages a farm for Mike and Dubs, and they buy a truck and pay Tatai to build a road and then plant all these banana trees, and then those guys are never coming back. Like Dubs, God bless him. Like, I know someone who met Dubs. Brian Dubs can barely walk. He's like, you take Stacy and add 100 pounds and add a bad leg. If he has his leg amputated, if he still has his leg in a year, I'll be surprised. That leg's getting amputated pretty soon. And, a big fat old guy with an amputated leg, like, how's he going to live out on a farm? How's he going to live in the Philippines, period? And Mike and May, I mean, Mike ain't ever coming to that farm. I called that one a long time ago. I said, Mike's never going to farm that farm. And I'm surprised May fell for it. She's a Filipina. She should have been a little wiser to that. But I think she's getting her citizenship in the U.S., and she doesn't give a damn about the Philippines anymore. Yeah, Mike and May, I mean, Mike was warned many times by many people, and he knew better. Brian was his friend. Brian's not a con man, and well, guess what happened, Mike? 5 million pesos you threw into that farm, and how's that investment working out for you? So, yeah, those guys, it's too bad. Yeah, something with those truck drivers in the U.S., like Hungarian Polar Bear, Richard Lauza, Mike and May, Dubs, um, probably one or two more I'm forgetting about. Yeah, it's just something with Hogg's voice. He just sells them a fantasy of, think of it. Like, if you're driving a truck around America, you're probably not making millions of dollars. You probably don't love it. You dream about moving to the Philippines with a young, simple Filipina that you're chatting with. You're going to buy a farm, and you're going to just raise chickens and sheep and goats and pigs, and you're going to, have a fish pond, and you're going to grow rice and just be, self-reliant. And, Hogg's a con man, so he pulls the wool over these people's eyes. And they always say it's easier to fool a man than to convince a man he's been fooled. So I think once these guys get sucked in, start sending money, and start like following them, they're too smart. And take Stacy Dixon for example. I know you and Stacy get into it. Like, I don't hate Stacy. I don't hate anybody, but like, Stacy's a 5'5", 300-pound man in his 50s, probably hasn't, enjoyed the fruits of a woman in decades. Maybe, who knows if he, can even do it at, his health. He's not the most sexually desirable man out there, and he's probably chatting to Filipinas. He probably dreams about having a farm out in the Philippines, and Hogg just kind of like fulfills a fantasy for him. And then Hogg empowers him, makes him his moderator. And it's like, Stacy Dixon's not the kind of guy who like has a college degree, oversees a team of 30 employees, like gets promoted at work into upper management, making six figures. Like, he lives in a trailer park in Arkansas. And from what I understand, he inherited that trailer from his parents. And he's out on a farm, and, he's not too successful in life or love. And Hog recognized that, puts him in as a moderator. So now it's like it actually gives Stacy purpose in life. So, and then plus, he likes going at you pretty hard. Hey, Don C. I'm in Hongdae, Seoul, South Korea right now. I'm at like a old railroad track that's been converted into like um, kind of just like a little mini walking park. People walking their dogs and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, Don C, you're doing God's work out there, giving it to Frank. I feel bad for Barry. I know Barry's not your friend either, but yeah, Barry's a character. Barry is what like he's a YouTuber. You got this down and out Alabama hillbilly sleeping in a tent in his friend's garage, $100 a month disability, begs his way to the Philippines, and for a few years, Barry had a pretty decent life, getting a few hundred a month off YouTube and 500-600 bucks a month disability, and going from girlfriend to girlfriend. And I mean, he's a short, bald, broke American, and somehow, some way, he gets Filipinas like to fall in love with him and support him and like pay for his Xboxes and load and beer and cigarettes and everything. And he is a character. You're right. Yeah, I like Barry. I mean, I bet if you and Barry actually sat down, like you'd be surprised. Like he's yeah, you might have to buy him a beer. He's not one of those guys where he's gonna buy you the first round of beer. You got to buy the first round for him, and then like remind him that it's his turn to buy the second round. But the few times I hung out with Barry, like Barry definitely like almost paid his own way. It was probably 60-40. I paid the bill, but yeah, he definitely, when he gets his check on like whatever the 15th of the month, about 5 days he's spending, he's having a good time, like he's buying beers, and then the next 25 days he's borrowing and begging and yeah, broke. So yeah, I couldn't imagine living on $500 a month. Like, you basically have to just live like with your girl's family out in the province, eating Filipino food, not paying your visa fees, not traveling, not eating out. And yeah, I could barely imagine living under 2,500 a month. It's just like Philippines ain't cheap, man. It ain't like it used to be. Food and everything's expensive here. Yeah, Ricky's a character too. I'm in contact with Ricky again. He blocked me about 10 months ago. Still don't know why. Just absolutely. Well, I've got a strong suspicion why, but I'm not going to say it here. But yeah, he actually, we've been in contact for about a week now, so we'll see. But yeah, I don't know exactly what's happening on the back end with getting Barry out, what the Ricky and the Copycat Channel and Big Ego are all working for. Like, um, I've got my suspicions and my reservations on it, but if they get it going, good for them. I think it's going to be a little more expensive than they think, because once those Filipino government officials like see you have money, like you're just going to have more crocodiles coming into this pond and trying to take their bite. So Barry's got to pay 5,000 to Frank, then 5,000 to the courts, and then all of a sudden immigration says he owes this, and like this attorney needs to get paid for this, and like then he's got to get a plane ticket home, and like next thing you know, you're at $20,000. So yeah, I talked to Barry a little while ago, a couple days ago. No, I'm not on LinkedIn. I'm retired, so I don't have any need for that whatsoever. Actually, never was on LinkedIn. I'm not on Facebook, Instagram, none of that. Just YouTube. That's it. Yeah, it is slow, and like I talked to someone yesterday who's in almost daily communication with Barry, and like if Barry came up with 10,000 tomorrow or today, he's not going home tomorrow. Yeah, Mr. Mead, Barry is in jail. He's no longer in a Cebu jail. He's been transferred up to Manila. I think he's in New Bilibid in Muntinlupa. And it's a typical Asian hellhole prison with, 40 guys in a room, and there's a guy you got to pay for to sleep on the mattress, and from what I understand, the guards are charging him 400 pesos for a big jug of water, and then the guard wants a tip on top of it as well, and um, yeah, it's not where you want to be. He actually had it pretty well in that Cebu detention center. I visited him probably 10 times. Bottles of whiskey may or may not have been making their way in there. I'll just say that. And but lots of brisket was getting in there. I'll tell you that for sure. Um, yeah, he had an ice maker. He had a coffee machine. He had a hot plate. He had a bed and a private cell, his own private bathroom, fan. He had unlimited people coming over. Shaw could spend the night. Food grab getting delivered daily, McDonald's, whatever he wanted, and yeah, it's definitely it's a shame. Frank Battaglia, what he did to Barry, I mean that's unforgivable. It's horrible. I mean, but he's a sadist, so you know that's his story. Yeah, I think it is Bilibid, New Bilibid in Muntinlupa. Yeah, there's just an insane number of young white women out here. Nothing like the Philippines. Like you go to Manila or Cebu, like you'll see young white women here and there, but I mean, I've seen more white women under the age of 30 in the past week here in Seoul than I've seen in 3 years in the Philippines. Got the old Korean ladies. Well, I actually meant to go on StreamYards to have somebody come on the chat with me, but I accidentally just went live, not on StreamYard. So I think I'm going to end this chat, guys. So I'm going to head into the bar, get some beer, start my day off right. But thanks, Mr. Mead. Thanks, Don C. Thanks for coming out, guys. Now, this is, I'm in Seoul, South Korea. I just went to the DMZ today. I'm going to post a few videos. I did a couple museums and palaces the last few days. So, yeah, I'll put some more stuff up. All right, guys. Take it easy. Have a great day. See ya.